Alrighty, gonna record here for pod 32 real quick. So for this one, I am gonna go away from the typical topic of Page of Plato. This is not an episode of that, but this is an episode of one of my discussions of things that are going on more so in pop culture or politics that I'm interested in. In this particular case, it's the signing yesterday of Alex Bregman to the Red Sox. Long story short, it's a 3-year, $120 million deal with opt-outs after the first year, apparently. So really a 1-year, $40 million sort of prove-it deal. And for the Red Sox, they clearly make an upgrade to their lineup overall. I'm looking on Baseball Reference right now, and in his age 31 year, Bregman is projected to go for 589 plate appearances, get 133 hits, 27 doubles, couple triples, 21 homers, score 78 runs, 75 RBI, 4 stolen bases, 60 walks, so 81 strikeouts, so 257 batting average, 340 on base percentage, and a 438 slug for a 778 OPS, which is decently strong. It's not necessarily what you would think $40 million would be paying for, but I don't want to necessarily harp too much in this case on it being an overpay. I think we should just be grateful to have him on the team, and hopefully he'll be able to match some of the production that he's had in the past, which is clearly what's sort of warranting of the amount of money that they're going to be paying him. Then clearly the contract is not a completely long-term deal. It's not a Juan Soto type contract, so I think it's probably likely to provide good value for this year. I think I mentioned this when I talked about the Soto signing and possibilities of where he was going, that Bregman was an obvious possibility to the Red Sox, but were they essentially going to spend the money on him, considering that it just looks like his overall numbers have kind of been declining for at least 2 years now. There's some argument to be made that essentially the best of his career is behind him, although that sounds fairly judgmental, but then you just look at the fact that 2018, 2019, his 2 years as an all-star, he's got totals of 316 and 328 total bases, and then in the last 3 years it's 249, 274, and 263. So clearly a player that's providing substantial value, but has arguably provided more value in the past. But then the argument would, I guess, be made that you're not paying for, with baseball players, you're usually not necessarily paying for regular season production. You're paying for what they can provide your team moment to moment, at bat to at bat, especially in a postseason context. And clearly, Bregman's been in the postseason a number of times, and you can know that from the fact that he's been playing on the Astros his whole career. And I'm trying to scroll down to see his postseason batting numbers, because I assume they are fairly good as well. So yeah, here we go. Postseason batting. So he has 19. He has 19 home runs in his postseason career, 54 RBIs, 240 batting average, 346, 443 slugs. So actually kind of exactly the numbers that are basically being projected out for him for this year. looks like he has he's played well in four. He's been in 4 World Series and won 2. He's bad, although I guess he hasn't hit very well. He's hit 198, 278, 426 for a 704 slash. And World Series ALDS is his best series, I guess, with a 333 average, 421 OPS or on base percentage, 629 slug for a 1.05 OPS. So that's good. I honestly thought his postseason numbers would have been slightly better, but number one, I guess that is baseball in terms of sometimes things don't go exactly your way, whether it's series to series or whatever. But even when you're not playing necessarily excellent baseball, your presence in a lineup, balancing of that is good. Now we come down here to the fielding stats. Wondering if I can just find a win over replacement sort of. Well, okay, he's got a 972 fielding percentage, which I'm just going to guess is better than Devers' defense there. Although this, again, like I kind of said at the time, raises the question of basically who's going to play third base for the Red Sox. How do they anticipate balancing their lineup? Who's going to play shortstop? Where does Trevor Story fit into all this? And is Trevor Story essentially the sort of cautionary tale for the Red Sox in going down this route that if you sign somebody in free agency from another team who's had sustained success in the past, will they be able to sustain that success playing for the Red Sox? I'd say there's no guarantee of that. So if I was to sort of assess the deal, broadly speaking, I'd say it's a good deal. It's maybe not it's not a perfect deal, but you don't want to sacrifice the good in search of the perfect. So, if he could be anywhere near where he was in 2019 when he was worth 8.9 wins above replacement, or even last year being 4.1. So, being able to be, a roughly 4.5 WAR guy for the last several years, that's probably good enough to warrant him being on the Red Sox. So now that I've done that brief sort of stats-based analysis of Bregman, I have heard that essentially he's sort of a pull hitter. He's a guy that we could sort of anticipate may do well at Fenway because of his career stats at Fenway. Being a right-handed pull hitter at Fenway is a better fit than, let's say, being a left-handed hitter like Juan Soto, for example. So just to quickly peruse MLB.com's article on this. So they say one of their takeaways is Red Sox are serious players in the AL East, talking about their pursuit of Juan Soto, their trade for Garrett Crochet. So it's saying they needed a right-handed bat to balance out their lefty-heavy lineup. Famously hits fantastically at Fenway. Raises more questions for the Red Sox. Does he go to second base? If so, will there be growing pains there? Will Red Sox move Rafi Devers off hot corner, entertain a trade of either Tristan Casas or Masataka Yoshida? Either way, they look a lot better in 2025. Fans have wanted to be able to say that for a while now. It's saying there's negative consequences for the Cubs because they didn't get Bregman. I guess this also means we're not getting Nolan Arenado with the Red Sox, which then it's saying the Red Sox were one of the 5 teams Arenado said he would waive his no-trade clause to go to. They seemed like a logical fit if they were going to miss out on Bregman, but they didn't. Now the Cardinals, who aren't going to trade Arenado to the Cubs, even though he would waive the no-trade clause for them, which he hasn't, once again trying to find some place to send their future Hall of Famer. Tigers are a possibility. I would say they're a bigger possibility since the Tigers apparently offered Bregman a 6-year, $160-some million contract. So, yeah. So that's a bit of a domino there is Arenado, which will obviously fall and change up the. Yeah, so they offered him 6 years, $171.5 million, but the AAV wasn't enough to close the deal. So, yeah. So with the Tigers, especially as well as they played last year, that's interesting. They weren't able to sign him. And then the Yankees also have Paul Goldschmidt, and they signed Bellinger, and so the AL East is going to be loaded this year. I don't think there's any question about that. Then here to Sports Illustrated saying the Red Sox nearly pivoted to Nolan Arenado for landing Bregman. So there, I think you could see that the Tigers might have some interest in doing that at this point. So it's saying here in this article that the Bregman deal was $10 million more per year than other teams were offering. Then Jeff Passan said Red Sox land the best free agent left on the market. Yeah, and then when Pete Alonso re-signed with the Mets, apparently that took them out of the running, and yeah, so it's saying that the Red Sox were prepared to pivot to a Nolan Arenado trade if they couldn't land Alex Bregman in free agency. Arenado's chances of being dealt have seemingly decreased with the Red Sox signing Bregman. So I don't know how much there is left to sort of continue to analyze about this deal. I just wanted to jump on it real quick since it came across yesterday and wanted to have a bit of a reaction to it sooner rather than later. Alex Cora apparently is big time happy with this, and it says on the ESPN article, with this contract, the Red Sox make a big money splash after guaranteeing only $52.3 million to free agents this winter, leading to frustration from a fan base of a team that hasn't been to the postseason since 2021. Bregman had interest from several teams: Tigers, Blue Jays, Cubs, most heavily linked. Also, the Astros offered about 6 years, $156 million. So Bregman seems like he's betting on himself, betting on the higher average annual value and hoping he'll make good on that. And it said he had surgery after the season to remove a bone chip from his right elbow. So we'll see if Scott Boras is his agent. That's pleasant. See if Bregman is willing to move to second base if needed. Red Sox already have star Rafi Devers at third, so Bregman's expected move to second would allow him to stay there. Cora referred to him last month as someone he envisioned as a Gold Glove second baseman when they were together in Houston. Bregman's coming off a 5-year, $100 million contract, slashed 275, 376, 488 with 157 homers and 554 RBI from 2017 to 2023. Rejected a 1-year, $21.5 million qualifying offer. That's hilarious. So the Houston only made that so they'll receive a compensatory 4th-round pick in this year's draft. So Red Sox will lose their second highest pick for signing him, forfeit $500,000 of international signing bonus pool allocation, and it's talking about how Bregman's ascension directly correlates with the Astros' run of dominance. One of the best third basemen in the game, core leaders of the team. Originally drafted by the Red Sox, but chose to go to LSU and then was selected second overall by Houston in 2015. Then with the team by 2017 wins a title. So I think overall, and then here's the Detroit Free Press article talking about Tigers offered $28.58 million over 6 years. Red Sox offer $40 over 3. Red Sox have opt-out clauses after the 25 and 26 season. Gets to test free agent market again next off season. So who knows? This could theoretically be a 1-year deal, but I somewhat doubt that. So so looks like it was a good deal by the Red Sox, and we shall see how this progresses, but spring training will be starting soon, so it's not going to take that long for us to get some idea of what's going on. So that's it for this time. All right, thanks.